Hello. How the fuck are we feeling? Good enough, I hope, because feedback stops for no one. Get the fucking TV on and headphones plugged in and listen to Sundance by Real. Pretty picture here. I like plants. Hard track already. He continues to eat week after week. Always fucking improving, bro. One thing. Low-key drums louder. Low-key bass quieter. And when I hear huge fucking downbeats like this, my brain is just like, yeah, give the big side chain pump. Because I feel like something about it doesn't just like, you know, unless it has that heavy side chain kind of balanced in. I don't know. It didn't strike me as not tasteful. Rhythm's flowing. Yeah. That's a little loud. Little panty. I don't know, nothing strikes me as off about the rhythms. Like, I generally say don't be too lenient, like lifting up the hat. Pretty confident and forward moving. I feel like the flows of the bass is like they have this very kind of rolling, other momentum type of feel. It's not dragging me by any fucking mean. So. I like those kind of transition moments. Low-key, I feel like the crazy auto pan filter business could be stretched a little harder because these like kind of low pass bits kind of not giving me much, but a bit of mud, a bit of slog, you know. And here, you know, there's not clearly defined kind of climax moment. That, and it's also not ultra mega progressive, dude. Feel struggling with the final drop, first drop back, more beefed up. I mean, that sounds like a fucking idea to me. Like, hook on that. Unless you really have a kind of new vision. I don't know. It's a pretty complex track, so I think kind of repeating an earlier motif could give it a bit more structure, a bit more so clearly defined character instead of risking blinking around from thing to thing too much. So I'm down for a bit of repetition, capitulation. But second drop, in my opinion, dude.
My message.
All right, I can't fucking listen to myself.
Well, where's the tension in that?
Slow.
I'm going to fucking kill.
Thank you, real. Okay. I fuck with this.
Well, where's the tension?
I think it really flows from the.
I'm going to fucking kill.
Cat going crazy in the back. I like the sound design. I think there's definitely a flow here. I think more variation, you know, kind of like switching from the main. Fuck his brother. Reference shit more. I mean, like straight up, it's sparse. You know, proportionate to the standard. And there are circumstances I would let it slide, but Permute has not proved to me he can make dense, full, professionally inspired arrangements. Therefore, reference some shit, you know, rather than telling ourselves, oh, minimal. As for what the fuck to actually add, why are you asking me? I just like that sub. I don't know. My thing is that there's a bit of guap, kind of just like going from just the energy the initial shock of the drop brings, but the guap is not elevated, not expanded upon, you know? And I think guap lies in the stuff. The fuck am I saying? It's real though. Listen to me, okay? It's about tension, okay? What it is. And if we kind of cook on our drop vibe without shifting anything, you know, your listener gets too comfortable. So bring in a new kind of layer. Bring in a little drop siren, a little free bass, you know, a little like kind of hype. You know, or just a sustain. Those are two things that kind of sit well in drops oftentimes. Feel free to kind of change the sounds, keep the flow.
I'm going to fucking kill you.
I really like the sub. I'm not as attached to the convolver type saw gun. You know, just see what different kind of textures we can push out of that. Maybe notch filter it, maybe disperse it, maybe phaser it. So it's telling us a bit more than saw ripping. Sharp. Anything else for me to flame? His hairline. I don't know. I see sauce here, but sauce is not elevated. If you fuck with this idea, you know, I would see about kind of rebuilding it up from kind of this center through to just traditional droppy means. Don't forget to sauce the intro to obscure my vocals. This is cool. Already. All fucking ready. Fitting. Oh, this is beautiful. Never use any Microsoft product. I like that a lot. I like that a lot. That resonates with type shit I've been. I'm cool with the density of the atmospheric sounds. I'm just cool with it. Don't have a whole lot of rational explanation. I mean, at a certain point with the atmospheres, you can have them sit in the mix, very background, something you're not even going to notice, right? But if you push them more to the foreground, it takes on a different kind of purpose. You know, it's in the sense you can have a bit of vinyl crackle, or you can have the white noise, whatever the fuck, on your bass. You know? It kind of meshes with the instruments rather than just being a +1 to it. And I fuck with that. I do fuck with that. And the ambient kind of sound you're going for, I think it's nice. And it's different. Are you reusing sounds too much? Perhaps. I guess. Are you reusing sounds too much? My thing is, I don't know, I was liking stuff. Some of the voicings on like the chord, like the kind of third chord in this looping progression, had me a bit like, you know, always think carefully about your melody. Make that shit inhale, make that shit exhale. Make each breath complete. Okay. Part of my qualms, is that the word? The arrangement. It kind of goes out just to go back into like a pretty similar idea. It just sounds like just like alternate version of like what we just hooked on. But or like it can just be like next track in the mix, you know, rather than something that's really like, oh, I told you this. Here's some new context. Here's a new angle. You know, it just feels like a new story, but it's kind of like the same story. And I'm like, and I heard this. You know what I mean? You just change a few characters. But you get what the fuck I'm getting at. You know? So for that, maybe change the vibe a little more drastically. Make the arrangement notably more dense, notably more sparse, notably different character in the sounds you have. Beginning of a different song. Okay, then, I mean, I'm not sure what the vision is going for. So if it's the beginning of a different song, then shouldn't it be a different song? I don't know what you mean. Still goes hard though. Right. Granulate that shit. I like this sound. Or the that shit hurt in my ears. Lucid slip. Ah, man, I'm happy now.
Then I played my own shit. It went something like this. Went something like this. Went something like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, like this.
You can't miss. You couldn't even miss 3 months ago. Just shows the type of shit been up.
It went something like this. Shit, it went something like this.
Okay. Is the first base too fucked? I don't know. Think I know. So it doesn't give me more fuck. I mean, I guess what you're saying by fuck is kind of like squashed, clipped up a little. How can you save it? I mean, watch. I don't know. Don't really push him soft clippy. I feel like some stereo width, you know, some chorus could make him feel a little less suffocated. That's what's going on.
It went something like this.
Bring the sub back, you know, which you mentioned later, to let him breathe. Sub too loud. Something I noticed, like, I got hyped as fuck for the track, so I turned it up on the monitors. And it was just had me hearing a bit of lack of low end in the kick thump compared to the sub boom, you know. So make sure the kick has appropriate levels of bass, so not leaving you hanging when it hits. And make sure the side chain is tight for the same reason. Will the flow be changing too much? I don't really think so. Just don't take any shit lightly. You know, like every little switch is an opportunity to fuck with your audience, you know? So if you got a cool trick up your sleeve, make sure they fucking know. They're about to witness. Or else you about to hit the craziest little jig and no one will watch. Is there any greater a tragedy? I can't think of one. Intro interest though. Just get like a Bunting sample from Bunting's live stream. He does these feedback streams like every Friday usually. Sometimes he says funny things. One of those lines could go really good as the intro. Maybe you can morph it beyond comprehension. Just like a bit of interest, right? Give your audience a bit of a message. No. Unironic, just throwing shit like that can help with it. But not my first piece of advice. Intro interest.
Like this.
Make the sub kind of a riser. I don't know. It's a fun thing, like, instead of just leaving the effects as is, or just kind of throwing effects in, really try to fucking sound design them. So sound design something really downlifting. You know. And then the opposite, get it really uplifting, you know, pitch bending up, you know, fucking with FM, you know, increasing the tension of the sound, you know. Kind of draw little dynamic lines down. Hop in, serum, or vital. try to depict that audibly. You know? Can all be in one synth. Focus in. Definitely something to do with sine waves, maybe detuned. Definitely chorus. Maybe FM. Get the pitch wiggling. Tight beat, you know what I'm saying? Neb. Alright. Loose slip. I love you. Sign my dog. Keys on that, John. That was beautiful. I feel like I haven't seen you around then, but new to EDM and DMB, yet he's sauced already. Curious what they're feeding this young lad. So your bits. You tend to use vocal samples as a crutch. They don't bother you here. Are they appropriate or too much? I would, honestly, I mean, explore the alternative. No vocal samples, but I wouldn't be ashamed of liking a good vocal sample, you know, because it can be like, quote, crutch, but really, I think they're almost always appreciated by the listener, you know, because many listeners really like vocals, you know. A lot of time that's the best instrument you can whip out, really catch someone's ear. Were they appropriate in their use, however? mean, inappropriate use of vocal samples would just be like spamming fucking drop shouts every 2 bars. But this is far from that, so we're good. Section starting at 113. Seems like it you more. I don't know what. I'm not sure what he means. Seems like it used more. What? Repeat the intro. I mean, that's fine. Plenty of tracks are structured like that. If you're feeling it, like add just a little extra sauce, you know? Or just ensure the intro idea is so good, so nice you want to hear it twice. But I mean, how do you want to evolve it? Chords, same sound. Maybe like arpeggiate the chords on the piano in a fun way. Maybe have a new kind of like lead melody, something I like to do, have a kind of solo-y line over the same kind of structure. Maybe just have it rising with a bit more tension, you know, just to keep the spice of the drop up instead of like going to 0 in the intro. Yeah. And you say you tend to overproduce. I think that's definitely a feature of this. It's just on the side of overproduce. The solution to that, just be fucking real. Just be conscientious of that. You know, really go through and be honest. You need this little extra bit, okay? You know, they say, hey, you want to be concise in your communication. So if you can get the same level of musicality across with less elements, that is superior. Fair enough. So long story short, just strip it back to the essentials and you'll end up with a cleaner, more confident product and a mix that will have your ears thanking you. But it's also the feature of more or less start to train your ear to appreciate less. Because if all you're looking for is more and more and more, you're going to keep adding more and more, you know? You just got to learn to find a bit less. Start to realize the beauty in that. You know, then you won't be so out of whack, you know? That being said, it's not overproduced to fuck, and I've generally everything still sits pretty pleasantly and gets along with each other. It just gives a little too much noisy chaos. A bit of overstimulation, if you will. I don't know. Strip back one. The other thing is very noisy on the bass sound. You know, I like a bit of white noise bass. You know, I've been hating on all the riff shit going on lately, for lack of better words. But when the white noise is clashing with a bunch of other melodic layers in general going on, it's just kind of like my dish is being ruined by profuse amounts of salt, okay? You got some rich flavors, you got some rich density, you know? I don't want some staticiness kind of flooding it, so I just keep it a little cleaner sound, a little less crisp white noise, you know, to respect the layers. The white noise just kind of takes over for me. Other stuff, probably like on the just like over compressed, like it just gives like OTT vibes, you know, almost on the groups, almost like multi-banded masters lately. Could be imagining things, but there's a bit of that, so slight over process. Well, but this is great news because I'm really just asking you to like do less. This is less work. So no. Like you show me you can cook down that level, like
What a conscious
bless.
understanding is not a computer.
Okay. Bro is kind of cooking. He's kind of cooking. Things being off. Like I guess the thing that stands out, arrangement kind of flat. We kind of just get a dosage of sustained sub that does not respect the doctor's orders. Because like we have this section and then it's like a big switch. And in a way it's like giving me the exact same type of vibe. Like drum beat is the same. There wasn't really much cut out to give it a greater switch. Maybe if we make the sub kind of follow the flows a little more instead of sustaining, it'll feel different. And like we don't need full drums all the time. Really just have a section with only the snares. You know, have a section with only the hat. You know, or like just leave the kick out or take the drums out completely for a moment. That would give a huge feeling of variety, very low cost. The other thing, in terms of phrases, where is our phrase sauce? No. They're kind of mostly rhythmic, mostly riffy. Bram, 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 bram. You know, get multiple sounds engaging in one phrase rather than just keeping it flat. You know? You know, instead of bram, bram, you can go boom, bram, 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 boom, bram, 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 boom, bram, bram. You know, similar idea, just kind of bouncing off a call. You know. Cool enough. Something like this, I can almost imagine just like a funky little art melody. Type of layers and or complexifying the phrase on top of some arrangement. Are we clear? All right, Yukla. Looking forward to this. Thank you, Ken. Always cook. Good look. Okay. That was cool. The pauses were interesting, to say the least. Had me check in if I stopped the song. Had me checking for bugs. Had me debugging. Debugging type beat. Is the melody the main part interesting enough? I would give it a bolder sound. I would like layer it an octave so it stands out at the fray more. And I think a melody, it's going to be hard to make a melody stick unless it's got a shtick, okay? And by a shtick, like, it's a rhythmic idea. I've demonstrated on the keyboard bit before, you know, but repeating rhythmic idea and a contour that plays against itself, you know. So if I go 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3, you know, up up, going up, going up, going down. Corny ass shit, but It gets the point across. Dude. And frankly, that shit thrives off repetition, which is going to be very hard to coincide with your style of arrangement. Which leads me to the old adage, know the rules to break them. Okay. Because honestly, like, I don't know if, more or less, quote, ruleless music exists. At least ruleless music that sounds good. You know, I think inherent to music sounding good is some type of order. And drawing from that, you probably want to know the rules so you can write your own. You know, like, it's kind of like before you're trying to build your own car. Okay, you gotta just like take apart a fucking Toyota Corolla, okay? See what's going on in that. Because I think the goal of a car is that it fucking moves, it drives, it gets you to point A to point B without killing you. You know what I mean? While music, not transporting you, at least physically, I would take the goal to be to tickle your fucking fancy. So sometimes we gotta tickle our fancy with the most fucking basic shit of all time and reverse engineer that and spin it up and spin it down and around, you know? So we ensure our final product is going from point A to point B. I mean, it became a whole fucking rant about everything musical. But it's just trying to negotiate the experimental attitude with respecting traditions and references, which has just been a big point in my mind regarding my own work and a thought I have regarding a lot of experimental tracks I see. Okay. Anyway, back to your fucking questions. How are the drums? I mean, reference tracks, like, to condense all the shit I just spewed on into one applicable phrased reference. Yeah, it just like switches up before I fully settle into what's going on. Wow. And same for drums. Reference, repeat more, settle more into vibe. You know, because if a dude's switching up too much, where's his character? You know, if he's just other things, anything practical on drums, you know, snare on 2 and 4, hats, start exploring triplets, really is a very fun thing. I thought that's a simple thing that can start elevating. Hush. Starting subdivisions more. 130. This part. Very cool. That break, magnificent. That's phenomenal. You're asking though, frame drum too loud against the kick. A little. Got that Epcot. We're pointing it to himself, but he's absolutely right. It's very wholesome, especially like the fun melody. It's very cheesy. Not cheesy as in full of cheese, but like very smiley. Like we getting down with it. Full of childlike wonder and whimsy. Frame drum too loud against the kick a little. That, and I feel like their textures a little different, like different sound palette, different vibes. You know, kick is very just like clean, vacuum chamber, electronic, you know, while frame drum at that texture, you know. So maybe I would layer something on the kick, make it feel a little more that organic quality, because that's the only word I can think of. Describe it. That bit of realness. To call out real. Does the volume on two vocal parts during the build need to come down? No. Sure, it doesn't get like too MIDI though, I guess. You know, overcrowding more than anything. A bit overstimulating. Maybe it's just my head with like all the kind of like transient little bits hitting. I don't know. The grain delay on the leaf pan during the wind down stuff. Why'd I say wind down? Wind down? That's actually what it meant, by the way, guys. I don't know. That's a type of question only you can answer, because that's not something I personally picked up. And like too soft is weird because too soft isn't something that you really perceive. If it's too soft, I didn't perceive it, so I guess it was too soft. More so it's like if stuff is out of line, that is what the hammer of criticism whacks them all with. Right? Question mark. New pick, bro. Really have like one more thing to say, right? Shoot mids, boost highs. I don't know. A little too mid, low, heavy. And watch the stereo, especially on those parts. It's mean. Thank you, Chris. Damn. Felt that shit, to be honest with you. I like this style. Pushing it up. I support this decision to switch it up. The Driz with the vision. Kind of spitting now. Kind of spitting. Okay. Mix suggestions. Don't slam the fuck out of shit. Don't do it. Not worth it. I mean, just the age-old advice I generally give every time, but get good. No. I don't know. There's just the whole like loudness thing. You start cooking shit, making it super loud, OCTing, saturating it to fuck. You get carried away, and then it's a mess, and like you already broke it beyond repair. Like. But just be conscientious at every single step of like loud. The kind of thing. What's the metaphor? It's like you're filling a glass, you know, and then like, oh, it's overflowing, you know, like dial it back, scrape a bit off the top, you know, like, you know, but you got to know where the fucking glass is. Okay, you got to know when you're overflowing with sauce. You know, you got to know when you flip the fuck out of it too hard. You know, when you OTT the high end too harshly. You know what I mean? It's just a very conscientious process that takes a lot of fucking time and tweaking. But it starts on individual processing. And it's something you don't want to fucking mess up down the line in your groups and mastering either. But long story short, resist the temptation to slam the fuck out of shit. Because that does get it loud quick, not without consequences. You know? Suggestions on the second half of the first drop. But there's only one drop. Suggestions for heavy shit. Get those like accent, like chug, choo, 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 ooh, ooh, you know, like higher harmonics, kind of EQ to sit nicely on top. That heavy ass sustained basses. The shit, that's that shit I like. I mean, or like the shit I don't like. It's the opposite of that. Okay, so I was referencing this track, like hip hop track, like a snit. Okay, you know where I'm going. Damn. This was good. Your first question, though, is the vocals get repetitive. Right around here is where I felt like it was getting repetitive. You can always do some LFO. Bring them up an octave, down an octave. Format. Affect them. You know, sound design. I'm treating like a fucking bass. Go crazy on it. Not entirely like a bass, okay? Because you're not gonna like distort the fuck out of it. Except you can do that too. Not stopping you. The harpsichord sensor, right? Almost gives me like brass harpsichord. It's good. I feel like it's pushed a little stereo and there's kind of distortion. Bit. Wash with the rest, maybe. How far away is this from being a genuinely releasable track? I like that question. Some weird artifacty stuff. Maybe it's just SoundCloud on the vocals. Maybe bigger, right? Snare a little bare. Also, Chris Digby, thank you. Really. Drop hard. I'd maybe tease some of the sounds and the vibes. So I was just thinking about arrangement stuff. So just a bit of mix, a bit of arrangement. I think sound design. Strangely, I don't find myself too critical of sound design because it's like make a cool sound, I guess. Who am I to say which sounds are cool? Let's not unpack that right now. I'm not sure if your ear is trained enough and trust your own judgments about it. Reference the fuck out of really. Reference the fuck out of things. Really. Reference the fuck out of, oh my god. Rats on a mic. That's might be catnip. Hi catnip. Wow. It makes me want to grab a rat and pet it. And maybe place it on an SM58 for good measure. Okay, I'll go fuck myself. Fun track, in the true sense of the word. Hamster. Build-ups. I mean, like, I think a lot of tension comes across in build, but you don't have to strip everything back to make that transition. You know, you don't need to pull out every trick in the book to have it do that. You know, you don't need to layer every riser. You don't need to pull out the drum. You know, you can just take properties of build-ups and kind of put them in here and there as a little bit of spice, right? The other thing is, I think structure can have inherent tension to it. You know, like if you have an intro, you don't need any like riser. You hear this in some like bass tracks. You know, they have a subdued feel, but just because you subconsciously know, like, okay, intro is 16 bars and then it drops. You know, and already, you know, or the kind of effect you hear like a hip hop trap type beat and the 808 hasn't come in yet, but you know it's coming. Almost the conventions of the genre can't build that tension for you. Holding back what you know people are looking for. That's a lot of words. But timing. Subtle build up elements instead of full EDM-ified. Little transition effect, you know, just filter, reverb block. Simply volume, also just holding tense chords, you know, holding like the fifth or whatever, the dominant chord, some place voicing. And also just like tension is everywhere, you know, you can just have one line that's a little less settled than another, you know, I think you can discern that with their ear. And then if you place that against one that is a little more settled, a little more grounded, there it is, it's fucking tension, you know. You repeat that and you could play with that, you know, and you repeat that enough, it becomes a convention. Like the 808 I mentioned. Okay. Song generic. Genericness. I mean, I feel like it's generic like character. You know, which is like almost like its character is being generic. You know, it's like bubblegum poppy. There's bubblegum in the title. So like the chord progression, the 4-bar loop to begin with is gonna have that effect. If you want it to have more character within that, you know, like have spicy little rhythmic ideas, you know, have a little melody. kind of squishiness of the sound design can be a bit of character, but it's obscured by ARP. And right now the ARP, it feels kind of decorative rather than like, we could have it as a layer, but I want just a melody that's very fun rhythmically. Rat hat pattern. And like sometimes like just strip things back, you know, and let the character be clear. So you like go down the list. Like what does the track have? You know, offbeat kind of like 4 on the floor, right? Like what's the vibe? What's the character? Bubblegum, okay. Like I think the progression and like the offbeat kind of bounce gets it there. You know, but make sure that comes across in like lead kind of melody. I can define it. You know, like a central kind of texture. You know, I heard that kind of like squish sound. You know, maybe you can push that a bit more. I think there is character in video game fun stuff as well, but I think you got to condense all those down to one thing. You know, because if you're hitting like a lot of different bases or a number of different bases, you know, like it doesn't necessarily resonate into one vibe, even though they can be kind of adjacent. Just to make everything squishy or everything video game sound, you know, or everything super poppy and take inspiration. Just throwing some fucking thoughts out there. Vocal element can definitely introduce a character, you know, just lyrical content. Vocals inherently like are a voice, like it's literally a character. It's literally a person. What more of a character could it be? And it's lead melody involved in. I don't know. This has me meditating on what the character of a track is. The question I want to think more on. Another element I say is like, I've talked about it in the sense of world building, you know, like having different Foley, having different atmospherics, you know, like imagine your thing is a space, you know, like bubblegum rave, you know, like how's the sound, you know, like any emotional kind of gravity, you know, naturally kind of unfold. After grinder rails with your sketchers. Right. And just keep describing that vision and match your end product to that vision. And ask about it, you know, because I don't know. It's something that really has to be conscious, at least for me, because it's only recently I've been mindful of like the fuck kind of vibes like what I create puts out. You know, I kind of make it, you know, and then people come to me and it's like, oh, this like video game type beat, you know, this like reminds me of this and this, and sometimes that wasn't even my intention, you know, it's just what it happened to be. But I think a lot of time that's ultimately what people are getting from your music. So in a sense, maybe that should be more central of a focus than even like fuck down, just like the technical shit we nerd over about. But I'm just entertaining thoughts. Hope they make sense. Yeah. If that's what's resonating with you, really push that video game aesthetic. And I like that. Like, I'm imagining pink pixely rave. Absolutely. You know, it can even be the point, like, literally go down the list, like, describe qualities of it. You know, describe your influences for it. You know, like, note what people get from it. Note what elements compose that. So you can say, okay, bubblegum poppy progression, offbeat bass, 4 on the floor, chip tuney video gaming sound. Or maybe even you'll get classic video samples in there to push that. Exactly. And it's weird. You don't notice until it's done a lot of the time. But when it's done, you can step back, get a bigger picture view. You know, you start to like learn something about yourself, about your work, you know, and that's something you can hone in on and make your whole fucking brand, make your whole identity. That's what you're feeling. Or a little evil. I don't know how to feel. I mean, besides evil, you know, but sometimes I pray the dark depths of my being. Something salvage. Besides, like, heavy dubstep. I mean, okay, but the first drop clear. Sub too loud. Because there's this effect with that the current volume, and then it hits the drop, and it's like all the highs just start ducking down. I like the scream, honestly. I like that shit a lot. More dubstep needs screaming on it. Sullivan King. But like freeform, right? Like. Bro has a crazy name. Bootney Lee Farmworth. Spoon's coming out. My boy. That's my slime. Okay, but go to the track. Pretty good. Sub too loud. There's just like some weird, like, I think the limiter is squashing. I feel like I want a little more cymbal work. Why did I play the whole thing? The highs. That's bass a little bit. I like the scream, but at the same time, I feel like you can just like OTT your basses a bit more, surprisingly. Desaturate them a bit. But don't fucking overdo it, because before I know it, I'll say that and then I'll never get a mix this clean from you again. This is what fucking happened. Area. Okay. Streets of Feedback Friday. Feedback Saturday if you're feeling CD. Alright. That's it. I like that shit. You put me on to screaming, low-key. And the image really matches. That was hard as fuck. Crazy. There's like two very different interpretations of hard, but they both hard. But their swag is different. Okay. Research this deeply. Meditate on this profoundly. How are the levels? Second draft levels. Those bases up. It feels like not really tickling the high end. In a weird way, I feel like slight room reverb. Like sparkle that like that 88 away. That's kind of tricky. I like this. In the Wiggles fill a ton of space. I almost didn't get this thing. I'll maybe put like notch or phaser on them. I hear some ducking going on, like when the kicks and the bass hit. So watch that. Or like make sure the side chain is tight, not too loose, not too sloppy. You can stop me. He's a little bone dry right now. Anything else here? Verb guy a little wet. I feel like we can have a little edge of dryness on him, so he just kind of throws a little harder. Maybe soften the intro, break a bit. I don't know. I like it though. It kind of does what it has to do and then it's out, you know.
The real reason, the truth, the truth, the truth, the truth. The real reason, the truth, the truth, the truth,
Okay. That was neat. I think like arrangement shit. It's on the minimal side. I think like a little more energy going on in the kind of lead department, playing in tandem with the basses. I don't know. Like, I just want new textures to kind of pop out of shit. These flows mean, though. I want, like, more character coming out of it. Like, right now, it's just very clean, very straightforward, like, BW-ness. Not necessarily empty. Like, I kind of like where the arrangement sits. It's very clean, but I really want, like, a character popping out of him. And, like, with a bit of these kind of string elements, it gives me, I don't know, like, movie soundtrack. Like, kind of, like, dark, like, shooter spy movie, like, so maybe that's the vibe that can be leaned into a bit.
the real reason.
Something on the coast of Greece. I would say lean into that. And make sure we walk away with just like a flow in our fucking head. The sounds are good. They play it on the safe side, you know. Give us one that's kind of bold and like a little treat, okay? Anything to mix down. Drums on the loud side, basses on the low side. I don't know. Like, so drums and sub are good. The rest can come up. Just a bit. sound design critiques, like sauce it up more. A little bit of noise, you know, like get those filters kind of notching and peaking, kind of like sending, like accenting the movement a bit. I can throw it just a little more. Flow is good. I'll maybe like those long basses to be a little more dynamic feeling, you know, like it's a kind of, you know, like, but they're not confident in that movement. You know, he's just kind of, you know, I want him like that, like with the added, very unnecessary, like grotesque, like sound at the okay. Like sometimes he gets a little too into it. Feel me? Hi, Aiden. Got some fun energy behind it. But you're saying stuck on how to add musicality outside the bass line to fill the spectrum. First of all, you can crank your shit way louder. Like, just get that out of the way. Okay. Little ARP doing that. That could work. You can also, it's a little ARP, little lead. Not my favorite melody to come out of my mouth, but here, so sustain line, little ARPy line, food line. I'm not sponsored. Just a big fan. Yeah. Hey. I didn't really pick up any hardness. If you're worried about that, you can like have some soothe, have some kind of fab. Duct it to kind of crisp up too much. Crisps. I like that harmonic shit. There. I had something else to say. Cymbals loud. Cymbals loud. That's like flex that a logo designer would say. I will not elaborate. These ping. Ladriz, I appreciate you. What direction? I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't fucking know. To be honest with you now, but character of the track, I mean, I said that before, but Gay Tetris really put me on. Shout out Gay Tetris. Homosexual Tetris, fruity Tetris. What else? Lesbian Tetris. Huh? I don't know. I mean, like, there's cool drop ideas, but it's like, okay, you gave us the burger. Okay, we're gonna eat the damn burger. Okay? But I can go anywhere and get a burger. Feel me? But there's only one Big Mac. Right? So how are you going to add the third slice of bread? What ingredients will you put in your secret sauce? Okay? So the people will eat a burger. Will they wait in line for your Big Mac? Okay, no, I'll say something more. It's like, I should have just let that simmer. It happens to the best of us. But, practical advice. If we're feeling like squishy, metallic, pan type beat, get more of those textures. Resample that, stretch it out. Maybe have the rest of the bases kind of catered to metallic now, you know? The thing is, character can stem from one thing, just expand it upon, you know? Maybe get a fun vocal sample that just takes the whole context of the track, spins it differently. Or boom, 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 something like that. It gives me, you can almost like kind of like the Latin type beat. You know, that's something a little different from the traditional 3/4 bass. Oh, the fuck happened? On this. like what you've cooked on. Talking about progression. Well, I see progress in your work. Dejected. Karmic bonds dejected. These are strong words. Bro has seen. The last part too jumbled. Slightly. Slightly. You know, it's the art of building things up, you know. You have more in the arrangement, make sure stuff on the bottom, stuff in the middle, stuff at the top. Um Beyond that, also timing. So everything's just kind of doing its own independent line. You know, you want to make sure things sound like they're listening to each other. It doesn't have to be the black and white call and response cut and paste thing we love to do dubstep. But it could be, you know, your little top melody cuts out when the basses are hitting, or your offbeat chords, your melody kind of is following a similar contour like offbeat, like you know, make things listen to each other. That, and sometimes you can just strip it back. Multiple paths, multiple solutions. I'm gonna leave it to you to decide. I don't know. I felt like I liked the vibe of the intro. I think this guitar adds okay. It adds to this like foresty vibe. The picture's bringing. And we're getting off the root note. It's a bit more progression-y. Progressive even. Piano as well. I don't know. I just love the sauce some real instruments can bring. Well. But you think like I would densen it up, you know? Like I really like how like rich the Wrong Warp atmospheres were. Shout out Wrong Warp. You know, that kind of textured thing for the intro, something a little more mid-rangey. You know, just even though it's atmospheric or like completely so, you just fucking feel that shit. You know, I think that's valid inspo. Okay, but I'm cutting it short because I'm tired as fuck today. You know, I was asleep before the stream. That's why I was fucking late. Okay, so there's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. But I appreciate the fuck out of y'all still showing up, even though my ass is late by a day and an hour. You know, if the day wasn't enough, I just added 60 minutes. Nonetheless, you know the drill. Links in the description if you want to rewatch the stream or all the other streams. Go to buntingmusic.com if you want to get some free samples and support me. And add to that description other links too. Thank you, Real. You keep it real. Oliver Twist, Mad Noisy, Bunzoid, Rob, Grizz. Owner Bravo. It was a good night tonight. It was a good night. I like the scream. I like the atmospheric vibes. This one hit me a little different. Something about it had a certain swag to it. I like a bit of anguish. I've always liked this picture artwork. Neb with the DMB piano beauty. Just flip always. This wrong warp. I find this interesting. There's similar vibes to what I've been fucking with. That dense ambient. Real dense. Real. Never stops cooking. Permute with that heavy shit. Alright. I've gassed enough. So I'm gassed out. Must refuel. Ooh. Pull up on your block with the tool. Ugh. Oh